Anjuman Rosy, Sheuli Jahan এবং Quazi Helal.
This is Subrata Kumar again to invite you to the third session of TIFA's today's events to Reading Bengali Poems. You all know that this is the third year in which the Bengali writers from Canada are participating in TIFA, the Toronto International Festival of Authors. We were first invited in 2020, later on in 2022. We participated in 2 sessions, and this year we have been invited to join 3 sessions. Today we had one event at 11:30, then at 1 we did another one, and now Reading Bengali Poems. The poets who are going to join this session with me and to present Bengali poems to you are poet Shekhar Gomes. Shekhar Gomes is a poet, and more than that, he's a performer, I should say. He has been writing poems in Bangla for a long time. Take a seat. Thank you. His book of poetry named Monokolpo, in English it could be termed as Verses of Mind, was published in 2016. He writes essays too, mainly on films and music. All of these essays were published in the Bengali weeklies and literary journals. Shekhar Gomes would like to welcome you to the TIFA's session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The second poet is Anjuman Rosy. Anjuman is a poet and an essayist. Anjuman studied Bengali literature at Dhaka University. She has published 4 books of poetry, 2 books of short stories, and 1 book of prose, along with 1 book of memorial. She writes on women rights as well. Anjuman Rosy, I'd like to welcome you to our session.
Thank you so much.
The third poet will be Sheuli Jahan. Sheuli is a poet, a Bengali poet. She has 2 poetry books to her credit. The number 1 is Ashar Bagane Nil Pujapati, which was published in 2015, and the second one is Droher Shat Rong, which was published in 2016. Her poetic creations in Bengali encompasses a diverse array of themes with a primary focus on nature and humanity. Sheuli Jahan, welcome to the TIFA session.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm honored and delighted.
Thank you. And the last poet will be Quazi Helal. Quazi Helal is a very noted cultural activist of the Bengali community of Toronto. He is a poet as well. His subjects of poetry encompasses the struggles of people, time, politics, love, nature, and history. He has 2 books of poetry to his credit. The books are Pankorir Dubsatar and Sravanir Chokhe Sthalpadda. Quazi Helal, welcome to our session.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the history of the Bengali poetry is more than 1 millennium. Since the Middle Ages, there have been huge number of Bengali poets who had composed hundreds of thousands of poems in Bengali. And the modern age of Bengali poetry started during the middle of 19th century. We proudly want to share that our poet, Bengali poet, Rabindranath Tagore, was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1913, more than 110 years before. It was a great credit to the Bengali literature and Bengali nation. All the time, we find that because Bengali is a poetry-loving society, community, nation, there are tens of hundreds of poets in our community. Even in Canada, we find that from coast to coast to coast, even where there is a Bengali community of only 100 people, there is a poet, I must say. And yet, if there is not a poet writing in Bengali, we would say, oh no, the community is not fulfilled, it is not a full-fledged community. There must be one poet. And in Toronto, I must say there are more than 100 poets who are writing in Bengali. And more than 50 poets, they do have books, published books to their credit. It means that we have more than 50 published poets, Bengali poets in Canada. You all know the great poet W.S. Auden. He once said, a poet is, before anything else, a person who possibly is in love with language. The question is why the Bengali community do have so many poets in their community? Because they do have a great love for their language. And we want to share their love. The panelists, the poets who are participating today, their love to their language, Bangla, will be sharing that today. But before that, we acknowledge that words and stories have been shared on this land for thousands of years. Toronto International Festival of Authors operates on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Ahnisha Anina Bek, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Wendat peoples. This land is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuits, and Métis peoples, and discovered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, a treaty to share and protect this land through friendship and respect. We thank those who have cared for this land, and we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here and connect with one another through stories. Ladies and gentlemen, now gradually we are going to be in conversation with our four poets, what they think about poetry, or when did they start writing poems, etc., etc. But above all, what we will be doing, we will be listening to their poems. Those will be in Bengali as well as in English translation. The question will be a similar question, same question I want to make to all the poets. First of all, let me start with Shekhar Gomes. Shekhar, could you please tell our audience, when did you start writing? What was the time you started writing poetry?
I started writing poems at my early age, very early age, when I was in grade 7 or 8.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and still writing.
And then? Since then you have been writing.
Yes.
And could you please tell our audience what was the time your first poem was published in any daily or?
It was, I think, 80s. But
In the
before
1980s?
that, yeah.
Okay.
Before that, my first poem was published in our school magazine.
Oh, okay.
School, yeah. Then I started writing also essays and mainly poems actually.
You had written during those days.
Yes.
But so far I have known that you have written so many poems, but you have got only one book of poetry to your credit. Why didn't you publish the other poems or the good number of poems in other volumes?
Actually, you know what? I lost them. You know?
Oh.
I mean, I didn't collect them. Or
you didn't preserve
those
the
magazines
copies.
or periodicals, you know, where they are, I don't know right now.
Oh. The poets are mostly very forgetful, and it happened to Shekhar Gomes. Thank you very much for answering my question. Now I am going to Anjuman Rosy. Anjuman, what time did you first publish or did you first write your poem?
Actually, I started writing since my childhood
Okay.
because of my father. He
Oh.
was always after me to write something. He found me, I can write, I can express my feelings. How he found actually, whenever I need something, whenever I like money or other things, or I am upset, I get mad about something, I cannot go to in front of my father, I am very scared. That time I used to write and then put the
But in most of the cases, we find that the parents are not that much interesting that their children are writing something.
No, that's the things. I put this paper on the underneath the pillow, and when he was going to sleep, and then he read this and read, and then he show my mom and look at this, my daughter, how she's expressing her feelings.
Mhm.
That's the way I started to become a.
Oh, then we should be very much, very respectful, and we should have an applause for her father. For her father, she has been a writer now. Because during these days, so far I know that Anjuman Rosy is one of the very strong voices from the Bengali community in poetry and in many other things. Yes.
And then first poem, actually, it was my grade 5 when I was. It was in about rainy season, and it's published in, actually the history is like that, that's how I started to write poem, and it was published in the school magazine. That's after that I started writing, but not all the time, it was on and off. My father, until he died, he was always pushing me, but me sometimes. But after marriage, when I came here to Canada, I don't have a relative and friend, but after that I found some good friend, best friend. One of my friends is here, and like you guys, I'm here like they are all my family. But beginning time I was very alone, so that time, you know, the loneliness is something comes to mind and heart, and then I started to write again. I came here 2000, and my first book published 2007.
Oh, was that a
It's
volume of
poetry.
poetry?
Poetry, poetry. And after that, one after one school poetry book published until 2017. In between, my one is storybook, one is memories book, one is prose book. I published. So still writing, but this day my writing flows to women rights. I feel like I have to write about these things more, what other things I do.
Thank you very much. And could you please tell our audience that I know your last book or the latest book published in the book fair in 2013 this year, it was regarding the women's rights like thing. Could you please tell something about that book? What is the content of that?
This book's name actually in Bengali, Nari Tumi Ke. English
But women, who are you?
Women, who are you?
Yes.
Actually, we are women. We don't know about ourselves. We couldn't find our identity. We are always with father's name, husband's name. After husband, son comes as a guardian. So women as a human being, we have right. Women has right for every single things how man can get from since they born until die. That's the things actually I want to focus in my book. And this recently whatever is happened actually is based on the Bangladesh story, Bangladesh women's rights.
In the context of Bangladeshi
Yes,
women.
at the maximum. And beside that, I brought some international feminist things, how we start from the feminism. Those things history, I wrote it down there.
Okay, the histories and the theories you have included there as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much and congratulations on the new
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Now I'd like to go to, go to Sheuli Jahan. Sheuli, could you please tell us during what time did you start writing poems?
Thank you. I began my writing poetries and rhymes from my childhood, but never harbored any intention to publish my works. During my time as a student at Dhaka University, I started working as a reporter and contributing features, essays and interviews, but never published any poem, although I keep writing the poem. But upon moving to Canada, I started penning poems whenever I could find a moment, and I felt a profound urge of poetic inspiration within me. Maybe it might be for the beautiful nature of Canada or the people, the culture that inspired me a lot. And then I found myself in poetry, and I realized that this is the space I can find my inner peace and happiness.
Or does it mean that actually you started writing poetry after coming to Canada?
No, I started writing poem from my childhood, but never published actually.
Okay.
That's
But you
what I
started
said.
publishing those when you were here.
Yes, and later, after a few years, I decided to release my collection of poems, and I published my first book at 2015, and the second one the following year,
Of 2015 and 16.
and 2016.
And could you please tell our audience about the contents of that those
Poetries.
yes, poetries or volumes?
Yeah,
Are the contents about nature?
it's mostly, it's on various topics, various emotional, such as like whenever I feel I moved to, according to anything, I try to write. But I get inspired most of the time by the nature, the beauty of nature, and like the color of the change of color in different season, and the trees, the wave of ocean, the river. Even a little bird inspired me a lot to write a poem.
Or does it mean that most of your poems talk about the nature of Canada?
The nature of Canada, yeah, of course, right now, but still I write about my country, where I grew up in Bangladesh.
As well.
Yeah, and there, even though my subject, I get my topics from the politics and the human nature and the people's behavior, something like that. Whatever just moved me and gave me some emotion and some feelings, I write about that.
Thank you very much. And this is really very important that our poets, they have left their country, they have come to a new soil, new nation, but they haven't left their poetry. they have brought their love for their language Bangla with them, and they have been continuing writing in Bengali, writing poetry in Bengali, even in Canada. This is really very worthy to mention, and we like to congratulate all our poets who have been writing here, even in the new land. Now I am going to Quazi Helal. Quazi, could you please tell or share your experiences of writing in the very beginning time?
Well, Subrata, thank you so much. TIFA, thank you for just giving us the opportunity to talk about the Bengali literature, Bengali poetry, and many other Bengali cultures that we belong to. So, when did I start writing? That's the interesting question.
Yeah.
As soon as I was born. I cried, and my mom said, "Look, my son is reciting a poem." So, the human life is very complex things. So my subject is human life and current any situations that we face to, love definitely, and also our motherland, Bangladesh, our revolution and history. It fascinates me all the way. I go really back when human life just started their journey. That was the beginning. And I started writing when I was about 12 or 13 years old. So far I can remember. I have written something. I don't know whether it was a poem or something else.
But you tried to write
I
something.
tried. I tried.
And what time did the first writer got published?
The first book was published 2022.
That was the book, but
This is
before the book,
yeah.
okay.
The book was published in 2020. But before that, my poems were published in different cities, also national newspapers and magazines, university magazines, and all over the places. But it was not published
Published in a book.
In a book.
Yes, and that was the first book that you tried to anthologize your poems.
Absolutely right. I did. In 2022, this book was published.
But the thing is that I found Shekhar and you both did this thing.
it was
Meaning
his
that
fault, actually.
you both of you published your books very later of your ages, after 50 or more than that.
Absolutely.
Why didn't you do that or try to do that much earlier?
Shekhar.
Okay,
For
Shekhar.
that you need inspiration, you know. I got inspired by you.
Oh, you got inspired by me?
Inspiration
My goodness, I don't know.
Came from you.
What was that? Could you please tell?
In 2016, you came to me
Okay.
and you told me to publish
A
a
book.
collection of my poetry.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Yes, and there should be a clap for me, I believe.
and as I said earlier, you told me that why only one book. When we started writing poems, that time we didn't have any hard disk, you know. We couldn't. Now we write.
Yes.
We
And you can
can
preserve.
save them.
Yes.
You know. We can maintain a file. That time it was scattered, sporadic, you know. So that's why they got lost. Many of my
Yes,
poems,
that
I
was
don't
a
know
great
where are
problem during those days. Yes. And, okay, let us listen to one of the poems gradually first. Okay, Shekhar, could you please read out your, what should I say, your very favorite poem?
Yeah, these poems are written recently.
Okay.
They are my new poems. I didn't take anything from my book, but
okay.
I
Oh, because
brought
that was
it.
much before. Oh, that was the book published in 2016.
Yeah.
Inspired by me.
Of course, of course, of course, of course. আমার এই কবিতাটির নাম সময় ও একটি প্রার্থনা। দুঃসময়ের এই ভয়াবহ প্রাচীর কি করে ডিঙাবো, কেমন করে সরাবো এই দুর্মোচ্চ আধার, চারদিকে দুর্লক্ষণেরা ভীষণ তৎপর, শুভদেরা তাই নির্বাসন। স্বয়ং প্রধান দানবের হাতে রাজদণ্ড, যথেচ্ছ গলাধকরণে যে তিমিঙ্গিলকেও হার মানায়। এমন দুঃস্বপ্ন জাগর আয়ু যাপন আর কতকাল, এবার মুক্তি চাই, এবার শক্তি চাই, চাই দ্রোহাত্মক ধিক্কারে ভেঙে দিতে দুর্লঙ্ঘ প্রাকার। এবার ফিরে যেতে চাই জ্যোৎস্নাশীল স্বপ্নের কাছে। হে বুধবর্গ, হে স্বাধীনতা মুগ্ধ বীরেশ্বরগণ, হে মাঙ্গলিক পৌরুষ, হে স্বয়ং শুদ্ধ সত্তা, আমাকে শক্তি দাও, সাহস দাও, প্রজ্ঞা দাও, দাও পরাক্রম।
Thank you very much. Did you have the English, yes, transcreation of that? Did you do it yourself?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
But my son helped me a lot.
Oh, very good. The son is here.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Some
to
of the
son.
words he didn't like,
And so
he
he
said it should be more poetic.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Orko. Thank you for your help. Yeah, time and a prayer. How to escape this terrible wall of adversity? How to remove this impenetrable darkness? The evil spirits are very active all around. The gracious ones are therefore in exile. A scepter in the hands of an unabashed demon, it defeats even a mythical monster with arbitrary strangulation. How long to live such a nightmare? Now I want to be free. Now I want to be strong. I want to break the inviolable wall with rebellious odium. Now I want to go back to glowing dream. O wise ones, O freedom-loving heroes, O self-purified beings, give me strength, give me courage, give me wisdom, give me power. Thank you.
Excellent. And congratulations again to Orko. He helped you. Thank you very much. I believe that our audience, they loved the poem, even in English. Okay, we are going to now Anjuman Rosy. Yes.
Thank you. My poem actually is abstract type. I love abstract things. So whatever I see, I like to go in and in. So my poem, I write that way actually. So first I'm in Bengali, I'm reading. গোলক ধাঁধার পথে পথে ভাঙা কাঁচি গোলক ধাঁধা গেঁথে আছে, যেমনটা হৃদয় ভেঙে চৌচির ভুলে বিমূর্ত সব কল্পনা ভাসে, তবু স্বপ্নের ঘরকুটো করে নিজ ঘরেতে সাজায়, দর্পণে ছবি আঁকে। জানি জাগতিক জীবন পরম ব্রহ্মের হাতে তোলে। আজকাল সবকিছুতেই অচেনা সুর, পার ভাঙা নদীর মতো, কানে বাজে শরীর কাঁপে, চলে বস্ত্র হরণের উৎসব। তারপরও দ্বিধাদ্বন্দ্বের কস্তুরী মেখে পায়েতে ঘুঙুর চড়ায়, হেঁটে যায় গোলক ধাঁধার পথে, যেখানে পড়ে আছে কাচের গুঁড়ো। কারণ মানুষ এখন স্বপ্ন দেখে দূরবীন দিয়ে।
Thank you.
My poem actually is translated by someone. I didn't do by myself. It's two things is I'm not good in English literature to write. So I asked some people, they did it right away. I'm very glad and grateful to them. So the guy is the Gulukdhada Poti, On the Way to the Mage, translated by Ashraful Alam Shidda from Dhaka. He is a great writer and translator too. There are mages crafted of broken glass along the way, kind of the broken heart. All the abstract imagination floats. However, one collects the pieces of dreams to furnish one's house, do painting on the mirror. I know, worldly life is swing in the hands of the God Supreme. Nowadays, there is a strange tune in everything, like a river bank erosion. It remains in the air and body shakes. The fiesta of stripping is on, and even then, scented with hesitation and contradictory mask, wearing ornament at ankles, walk through the maze where the broken glass is lying, because humans now dream through the binocular.
Thank you very much. And we would like to congratulate your translator because he helped you to make it into English, and for which.
But I sent my poem 3 people in India, Calcutta, Bangladesh, even here one of my friends. They did right away. I'm so surprised. They are very nice.
Oh, that is nice to hear. Now we are going to Sheuli Jahan. Yes. She'll be reading her poem and an English translation.
থ্যাংক ইউ। আমার প্রথম কবিতা নয়, একটি কবিতা।
She was going to speak in Bengali. In some of the sessions, actually, আমরাও চেষ্টা করেছি একটু বাংলা ভাষায় কথা বলতে, because we are the Bengalis, we love to speak in Bengali. Okay, no problem.
সেটাই আমি বাংলায় বলছি, পরে আমি ইংরেজিতে ট্রান্সলেশন করে দেব। আমার প্রথম কবিতাটার নাম হচ্ছে একুশের চেতনা। এটা আমাদের ভাষা, আমাদের মাতৃভাষার প্রতি শ্রদ্ধা এবং সম্মান, সে বিষয় নিয়ে লিখেছি। My poem name is The Spirit of Ekushe, and it's all about our respect and love to our mother language.
Let me explain that Ekushe means 21st of February, which actually is related to the incident of 1952, on which day the Bengalis of Bangladesh, they fought for their nation and shed their blood. For that reason, and from there actually, UNESCO declared the day 21st of February as the International Mother Language Day. And we the Bengalis do have very much enthusiasm for that day, that incident, that event. And so many of there are hundreds of thousands of poems written related to that day and that incident. She has written also one.
একুশের চেতনা। হলুদ কুসুমের উত্তাপে যখন থেকে বুঝতে শিখেছি ধ্বনি, বুঝেছি এ আমার মায়ের ভাষা, আমার অস্তিত্বের প্রকাশ। জেনেছি 52 অর্জন ও বিসর্জনের বিপ্লবী ইতিহাস। সেই থেকে এই ধ্বনিতে আনন্দ বেদনায় জীবনের ইতিহাস গেথে কত হেমন্তের হলুদ মাঠ চোখে মেখে পেরিয়েছি আঁকা বাঁকা মাটির পথ। দেখেছি কৃষকের ঘামে ভেজা সুখ, ইট সুরকির আড়ালে ভোরের সূর্যোদয়। তন্নি শরীরে উদাস দুপুরে কৃষ্ণচূড়ার মাতাল আগুন, ভালোবাসার বনটে কত শ্রাবণের বর্ষণ, কত বসন্ত। সেই গর্বিত একুশের চেতনা বুকে পাঁজরে গুঁজে বর্ণমালার আবির ঠোঁটে মেখে আজ বিশ্ব চেতনার উন্মুক্ত রাজপথে ছড়িয়েছি সাদা কালো অক্ষরের মিছিল। বাংলা বর্ণমালায় সাজাই তুষারের শুভ্রতা আঁকি পলাশের রং আটলান্টিকের সুনীল জলে। আলবাট্রস পাখির ডানায় বাঁধে আগামীর স্বপ্ন, নায়াগ্রার প্রবল স্রোতে লিখি কবিতার পংক্তি। নির্মল আবেগের স্রোতে ভেজে ত্বকের ভাঁজ, পরদেশী মুখে আমার বর্ণমালার বিকশিত শোভায়। ফিরে তাকাই তবুও একবার, জীবন সিঁড়ির এতটা ধাপ পেরিয়ে বিশ্বায়নের চৌকাঠে দাঁড়িয়ে কিছু প্রলম্বিত প্রশ্ন আছড়ে পড়ে বোধের উপকূলে। কতটা হয়েছে পরিশোধ রক্তের ঋণ? ফুল নয়, আজও রক্তে ভেজা হৃৎপিণ্ড ঘুরে বেড়ায় অমানিসায়। সালাম, বরকত, রফিক, জব্বার আরো অজ্ঞাত শহীদের লজ্জিত ছায়ায়। অপলক দেখি শহীদ মিনারের কালো চত্বর জুড়ে মিশ্র বর্ণের সংবর্ধনা, প্রজন্মের বুকে আজ ক্ষত বিক্ষত 21-এর চেতনা। পড়ছি ট্রান্সলেশন।
Now she is going to read out the English translation of the poem.
The Spirit of 21 and translated by our respected author Sujit Kusumpal.
Oh, we are happy that Sujit Kusumpal is here, and we would like to announce that Sujit Kusumpal was somewhat like a TIFA alumni. He participated in TIFA in 2020, and we'd like to announce that we do have some more TIFA alumni here. There is Tasmina Khan. Tasmina participated in 2020. There is Shreuli Jahan. She participated in 2022. There is Rumana Chaudhary, the English author, both English and Bengali author, I should say. She participated in 2022. And there is Debanjana Mukherjee Bhomik. She also participated in 2022. And till date, we have about 30 writers and poets from the Bengali community who has been involved with the TIFA. And we feel really very proud that this number is growing and growing and growing. And we hope that if we are invited in the next years, we'll be doing more sessions and more participants will be joining us. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So my poem, The Spirit of 21, with the euphonious placenta from the very inside of an embryo. I had learned the phonetics from the voice of the yellow yolk, the voice that transmits the nurturing care and pronounces the index of my surviving flavor, and infused in my entity as the language of my mother. I had learned the revolutionary history of success and sacrifices in 1952. Since the day of infusion, I have archived the moments of life in the track of bliss and pain, traveled the carved miles along the golden grain, where the farmers grow happiness with the flow of sweat, snap the radiance of rising sun behind the broken brick. Drunk the drunken fire of Krishnachura in the pensive noon, soaked my soul in the shower of the lovely blue, and slept with the spring in sun, winter in dew. With the doctrine of 21 in my ribs and the dye of alphabets in my lips, my beloved Bengali black white letters are assembled with the whiteness of snow in and beyond the planet, illustrating the shade of polish in the blue water of Atlantic Ocean, and knitting the dream of future in the wings of albatross, and lettering the poetic lines in the spirited wave of Niagara Falls. In the lair of my dermal tone with the tears of passion, in the grief of foreign leaves with the beauty of motion. Still looking back once again, standing at the footsteps of globalization, passing the steps of life with a perpetual query on the perceptual in show. How much is the debt of the martyr's blood paid off? Not the flowers, I see the souls of Salam, Barkot, Rafiq, Jabbar and the unknown martyrs, India's saddened shadows still wandering in the darkness with wonders. I see with wonders. Around the black complex of Shahid Minar, mixed language reception and the spirit of Ekushe still scattered in the heart of our generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we like to congratulate Sujit Kushumpal for the translation, especially for incorporating the words like Ekushe or Shoid Mener in the English transcreation. Yes, Krishna Chura. These are the very Bengali words, and in our previous session we have seen that when the Bengali writers are writing, this has been a phenomena of English Canadian literature also going to be a phenomena, that when we are writing, we are incorporating our words, which is very usual. Rumanapa very often she does this. She includes the very particular words, very special words which are associated with the Bengali culture, Bengali literature. She does this very often, and we found that our previous panelists, like there was Gandhar Chakravarti, and Gandhar has a book like Maple Veda, and in Maple Veda we found that the Indian gods, the mythological Hindu gods, the Ganesha or the Krishna or the Shakti, they are traveling in Canada, in different cities of Canada, and they are giving their expressions, the gods are giving. The Ganesha is moving in Toronto and at Harbourfront, like these things he has incorporated. And there was Arif Anwar, you know all that Arif has a novel to his credit. The title of the novel is The Storm, and in The Storm Arif has tried to insert the Bengali fonts, Bengali alphabet, Bengali letters in his novel. Everything is written in English, but there is one Bengali word, and he didn't hesitate to include that. This is very, what should I say, it is sort of courage for the translator, for the writer, to include, to express his culture. And as Canada all the time encourages its immigrants, its nationalities, its people to continue with their culture, we the Bengalis do not hesitate either to do so. And thank you very much, Kushupal, for translating the poem that way. Now we are going to Quazi Helal. Quazi Helal, what poem are you going to read out first?
আমি আমার প্রথম কবিতাটি যেটি পড়ব,
The first poem he is going to read out.
ঈশ্বরের নতুন প্রজ্ঞাপন। মানব জীবন যখন খুব সংকটময় একটা মুহূর্ত পার করছিল, সেই সময়কালীন আমার এই লেখা কবিতা আমি পড়ছি। হে মানব জাতি, আমি ঠিক এই মুহূর্ত থেকে তোমাদের সমস্ত স্বাধীনতা কেড়ে নিলাম। আমি কেড়ে নিলাম তোমাদের সন্তানের ভালোবাসা, স্ত্রীর প্রতি তোমাদের অধিকার, জৈবিক উল্লাস। সমস্ত মানব জাতিকে আমি অস্পৃশ্য করলাম আজ থেকে। সন্তানকে তার মাতৃস্তন্য থেকে বঞ্চিত করলাম, পিতাকে তার সন্তানের আলিঙ্গন থেকে এবং বন্ধুকে বন্ধুর উষ্ণ সান্নিধ্য থেকে বঞ্চিত করলাম। আমি তোমাদের পাখিদের মতো আনন্দময় জীবন দিয়েছিলাম। আমি আরো দিয়েছিলাম আকাশের নীল, অসীম জলরাশি, বনরাজির নীরবতা ও অগ্নিময় শক্তি। আজ থেকে আমি অবরুদ্ধ করলাম তোমাদের, কেড়ে নিলাম সবকিছু। স্মরণ আছে, আমি শিখিয়েছিলাম তোমাদের পাথরে পাথর ঘষে অন্ধকারে পথ দেখতে, নিজেদের অগ্নি বলয় থেকে রক্ষা করতে এবং কর্ষণ করে ফসল উৎপাদন করতে শিখিয়েছিলাম। আমি তোমাদের বেঁচে থাকার যুদ্ধে টিকে থাকতে, মহামারী থেকে রক্ষা পাওয়ার শিক্ষা দিয়েছিলাম। সমুদ্রের বৈরিতা উপেক্ষা করার জন্য প্রস্তুত করেছিলাম। আমি স্মরণ করতে বলি তোমাদের প্রপিতামহের কথা, স্মরণ করতে বলি প্রাগৈতিহাসিক যুগের কথা। জীবন যুদ্ধে তারা ছিল সমূহ উজ্জ্বল, তারা ছিল উদ্ভাসিত আলো এবং পর্বতের মতো ঋদ্ধ ও সংযত। তোমাদের বিছানার মাঝে কাঁটাতারের বেড়া দিলাম, সীমিত করলাম তোমাদের চলাচল, বন্ধুকে ঠেলে দিলাম দূরে। আমি সমস্ত মানব জাতি, ধর্ম, বর্ণ, গোত্র ভেঙে গুড়িয়ে সাহিত্য করলাম এক কবরে। আমি তোমাদেরকে আবারও বলছি, নতুন করে ভাবো, ভোগের বাসনা সীমিত করো, সদয় হও পশু পাখির প্রতি, জলস্থল অন্তরিক্ষের প্রতি সংযত হও। আমি আর একবার হাত বাড়ালাম বিলুপ্তির হাত থেকে তোমাদের রক্ষা করব বলে। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you. Now the English translation. Actually, we the people, when TIFA contacted me and we decided that there would be a session like this, I proposed that there should be the utterance of the Bengali language. I wanted that how the Bengali language sounds. We'll be speaking in English, but we want to make the other audience than the Bengali people, Bengali community people, to learn, to know how our language is, how the sound, how the sweet of Bengali sounds are. So we have included these Bengali poems in the original Bengali text.
Okay, thank you. Many thanks. So this poem was written at the time of our life, when life and human life were in danger. So we were inside the house and the corona was outside. I hope we haven't forgotten that moment. The name of the poem is A New Proclamation of God. O mankind, from this moment on, I have taken away all of your freedom. I have taken away your love for your children, your rights over your spouses, natural joy. I have made all of humanity untouchable. From today, I have separated the child from its mother's breast, the father from his child's embrace, friends from the warmth of their closeness. I have given you a life full of joy, like the birds. I have given you the endless blue of the sky, the boundless water, the quiet of the forest, and the fury of strength. I have now imprisoned you all, taken away everything from you. Remember, I have taught you to see the path in the darkness, to protect yourself with the fire of knowledge, to cultivate crops diligently. I have prepared you to survive the war of life, to protect yourself from pandemics. I have prepared you, ignoring the sea's hostility. I tell you to remember your ancestors. The stories of ancient times, in the age of struggle, they were all radiant, as if illuminated light and strong like mountains. I have thrown thorns into your way. Today, I have limited your movements. Distant friends, I have buried all the humanity's religion cast in one grave. I say to you again, think anew. Limit your desires for pleasure. Be kind to animals and birds, to water and the environment. Unite, unite. I extend my hand once more to save you from the extinction's greed. I will protect you. Promise, I will protect you.
Thank you. And this is really very nice to listen to the Bengali poems and their translations. And in this regard, I like to mention that till 2019, TIFA started in 1974. Till 2019, all the languages for TIFA was only English and French. In 2020, TIFA decided to include some 4 or 5 community languages, community literature, community authors. And Bengali was one of those 5 and 6, and we participated in 2020. We participated in 2022. In 2020, there have been 3 sessions, and two sessions were completely in Bengali. I believe that it was a very good step for the Bengali community people to prove that in Toronto, in Canada, we are really a very growing community. We are going to be powerful in the literary arena, I should say. And for that reason, we have been able to make our place here today in 3 sessions. Now, I want to make a very small question to all 4 of them, and later than that, later on, we will go to the audience to invite the questions from them to our 4 poets. The question is to Shekhar Gomes. Do you have any future plan to publish your next volume of poetry?
As I said earlier, I write essays also, mainly on film.
But I have read many of your essays on music as well, on Tagore songs, etc.
Yeah. But I said mainly on films.
Okay.
I write on other subjects also. And they were published into various newspapers, weeklies mainly. My plan is I will publish them as a book.
Okay.
Yeah, there are so many essays there, mainly on.
Okay, very good. Advance congratulations.
Yeah, I already. নামও ঠিক করে ফেলেছি।
Okay, what
আমার
will be the name?
চলচ্চিত্র ভাবনা।
Oh, my course on films.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much and advance congratulations, Anjuman Rosy. Are you going to publish another book in the next years?
Not next year.
But?
I don't want to be too hurry.
Okay.
But I have planned to publish about Begum Rokeya.
Okay.
I'm
One of
reading-
the very powerful women, what should I say, writers.
Feminist.
Yes, and thinkers.
Mostly she works
Yeah.
for women's rights. And after 100 years, how we feel her and why we need her.
And even after 100 years, 100 years, her thoughts, her works are very much relevant.
And her dedication.
to our society.
Yes. Those things I want to bring it out. I'm reading that. And beside that, I'm writing something. When I'll be ready, maybe next year or next year, I don't know.
Okay.
But
She is
already,
not in a hurry, but I am in a hurry. Very soon I will
no,
publish
but
another book.
Bangla Academy already offered me. If
Okay, that would be nice.
If I publish, then they will publish.
Okay, she is expecting that the book will be published from the Bangla Academy, which is the national, what should I say, literary organization of Bangladesh, Dhaka. Okay, Sheuli Jahan, could you please tell your plans of publishing a next book?
Yes, I'm planning, and I'm meticulously preparing 2 manuscripts. One is the translation of our Canadian prominent as well as the new poets.
Oh, okay.
That you can see that I sometimes I translate some of them and publish on Facebook, but now I'm trying to collect all the poems and put it in a book. And the second one is my
This is going to be a very popular thing, or what should I say, very interesting to the Bengali writers, translators of Canada. Now, many of the writers of our community, they are trying to study Canadian literature, because Canadian literature is not that much popular, that much known to our writers or community people. They are trying to translate those. They are trying to make the Canadian writers popular, connected to our readership. Thank you very
That's
much.
my motto, and that's why I'm
Okay,
translating.
and congratulations.
Thank
now
you.
I'm going to Quazi.
Thank you, Subrata. Definitely, I have 2 books coming. One is a short story, and another one is a poetry book.
Okay, then it proves that he is in a hurry to bring all the 2 books very
Yeah.
soon. Thank you and congratulations. And dear audience, we have 5 more minutes for the there are questions and yes. Yeah. Could you please tell your name?
Yeah, thank you, Subrata. My name is Shekhar Gomes.
Uh-huh.
I also write.
What I can do, just a sec. Could you please take this microphone? Yes. Because we don't have any extra microphones.
Thank you.
Yes, and please be precise.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Subrata, allowing me to raise my question. Actually, I'm a first generation migrated person from Bangladesh to Canada, and I see all writers, poets, they're also first generation. So our roots are heavily rooted in Bengali culture, and the poems that actually express that they are more taken refuge in Bengali culture. But when Canada encourages ethnic languages and cultures, how Canadian culture is affecting your writings? How you are feeling your assimilation to the Canadian society and culture? Is it affecting you, or always you are rooted into Bengali culture? That's my question.
Okay.
I can answer your question, sir. Yes, it definitely is not. It doesn't affect, actually it influences. So Canadian culture is just enriches our culture as well, definitely. And when we write something, we don't forget about the place we live in. We always also remember everything happens here.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer. And there is Samina Chaudhary, one of the very prominent cultural activists of the community. Okay, Samina. To whom the question is?
My question is for Quazi Helal.
Okay.
So you said that you're going to publish 2 books next year. Congratulations firstly. And one book is for poetry, I understand, but what is the content of your second book? That is my question.
Oh, okay.
It's a short stories. Actually, the place I was from back home, Mohadevpur. The name of the place, Mohadevpur, is within the district of Nauga. So my memory and plus some my siblings that we are.
What are stories related to them? Thank you very much.
Thank you very
and
much.
Rumana Chaudhary, yes. Rumana is one of the very major writers of the community. Yes. She has written English books and her book has been published from Toronto. Okay, Rumana, be precise, please. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My question is arising from Shekhar's question. I wanted to be a little more specific. My question, all your poems were lovely. My question is, do you write for the Canadians or do you still write for the Bangladeshis? Because as diasporic poets living in Canada with Bangladesh as our roots, we should also focus on this country.
Okay, thank you very much. I have understood. Now, I want to give the answer of our question. That is, actually, whatever you write, that could be for the Canadian audience, that also could be for the world audience. I think, because whenever I read Shakespeare wrote for the British people, but Shakespeare, if that is universal, then it comes to me, it goes to you, etc. And Rumana, thank you very much. We have to be very precise because our time has been limited. And dear audience, thank you very, very much for being. No, I won't be able to give Sujit Kushumpal time right now because the time has already been knocking to the last minute. Thank you very much, dear audience. You have been here, and many of you have been here since 11 in the morning. We are really very grateful, and we are grateful to TIFA people, the volunteers, the organizers, that they have been supporting us in so many ways. They have been inviting us not only for this year, for the last 3 years, for their inaugural events, etc., etc. And we are very grateful to them, and we like to thank all the 4 poets who attended.